City talk. Let's get it started. City talk. Let's get it started. City talk. City talk. With my man, Rod Carter. And my man, roll. City talk. Let's get it started. City talk. Let's get it started. With my man, Rod, my man.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to City Talk. I know it's usually on a Monday, but we slid in on a Thursday just to kind of, shake things up since we missed you on Monday. And before we get into it, if you haven't downloaded the CoyoteMan TV show network on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and you can find it where you find your mobile apps. And I'm the host, Rod, and this the host.
Big Four.
And you know what I mean? Let's get right into it. So we know Tuesday was election day, right?
Right.
But the city and state is moving so slow. It's still, races that haven't been settled yet. But real quick, I wanted to say, something. Would this be considered voter suppression to you? Because some people showed up to a voting place in West Baltimore in the Sandtown area, and the polling location had a handwritten note, and it said, "Nah, we're not taking the votes here today. It's going to be 9 blocks down the street." Now, a lot of these people were elders,
Right.
So they caught rides and stuff like that. It was hot outside, so they standing there like, what are we going to do? So Doc Cheatham actually said that he was taking people back and forth, take you back down there, let you vote, bring you back. But it's crazy because that Sandtown area was recorded in the New York Times and New York Post as being one of the areas in Baltimore that voted big for Trump. So they were kind of saying, like, is this kind of like a retaliation? Because they said that particular area voted way different than a lot of the rest of the city. And in the Matthew Henson area, they said the same thing. They showed up to the voting locations and it wasn't open. And like, these are our people. This is our locations. Would that have been different if it was in Harford County or something like that, and in the black area?
Montgomery County.
Right, and
Now the thing is, I did see a little bit of that on TV, and they was just talking about like the internet, like they were sending the internet, they didn't have no internet connection, all this and that, and I'm just like, it seemed like they would have had all this together the day before, like, yo, like, do you do a, because I'm pretty sure you just don't go nowhere and just set up hell, when you go to a concert, they at least do a test run or something, like, yo, they didn't do any of this before.
I mean, they were putting it out there that they needed election judges, but it seems to me that, since if they knew they were short people, they would actually should be bring people from the city. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Hey, you work down at DPW, we need you up here today.
Right.
We're gonna pay you time and a half, whatever. You know what I mean? But it's just weird because on top of that, they lost 12 flash drives that had votes on it. Well, I'm sorry. Let me ask you, what's your definition of losing something?
Losing mean like, yo, you lost it, you don't know where it's at.
Okay. Well, the man that runs the top judge,
I can't find it. In other
he
words,
said they're not lost. We just don't know where they're at.
When it's lost.
So apparently they have found them now. So they can start, tallying up the votes. But the state's attorney's race is one of the hot races in Baltimore City,
right.
And as of now, it's saying Ivan Bates is up about 4,500 votes.
But that's the votes that they haven't counted. The early votes and the ones they put in the little.
I think they are the votes that actually people cast.
Okay.
Because they just started to do the mail-in ballots. They started doing them today.
Okay.
So, but they said
you got to realize too, the mail is running slow. The
mail-in ballot, they drop box. Well, I guess some people did actually mail them in as long as they were postmarked by the election date.
Okay.
But, the top election judge once again said we could be into 3 weeks before we know if some of these races are settled.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the 21st century now. It's crazy. Why?
In the 80s, it wasn't even like that.
No,
In the 80s, you at the end of the night, 90s at the end of the night,
right.
maybe the next day if it was a real close election.
Right.
You know.
So I mean, do you think in the future maybe we can vote from home now? Like you put in like a code.
You know what? I believe in the era we are now with two-factor authentication. They can send you a code, and that code is only specific to you. You know how when you try to log into the bank or something like that, they're gonna send you that code. So it should get to that point because at this point, the system we have now is so flawed. You know, when you walk in, they don't ask you for your ID. They ask you for your address, your name, and your birth date.
Or maybe like the last 4 digits to your social.
Right, but it's like if I know your information, I can go in and be like, I'm him, I'm Big Vor, and I won't vote for everything Big Vor wouldn't vote for. Right, you know what I'm saying?
So but anyway, so Brother G, but
Yeah, but on top of that, the Democrat race hasn't been settled.
Okay.
But for governor. But the governor's race, the contender that's going to be for the Republican side, Dan Cox, he won in a landslide. He tore Hogan's contender up.
Okay.
But a lot of people think Dan Cox is a kook because he's supported by Trump. But one thing I want to put out there, Dan Cox is in favor of what Hogan did as far as roll back the requirements for the
wear and carry.
Wear and carry. Right. So if we have a Democrat governor get in there, I believe that governor may roll back that wear and carry. So people, if you can, you might want to start getting your paperwork done sooner than later because we never know. This might be a short-lived thing in the state of Maryland. You know what I mean?
All right. So so who? I mean, falls on the Democrat. Who pulled that off? Falls the primary. Who pulled that off?
Well, it's still Westmore. Westmore is the leader. Tom Perez is running second.
Okay.
But it's funny though because we talked about Westmore, some shows ago. It just strikes me as being odd that he got past that.
Yeah, people like liars. I mean, people like the untold. And then not to mention too, when Oprah jumped on the bandwagon, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, first it was said that she was upset once she found out some of the information in the book wasn't correct, but she came in full speed and dumped a whole bunch of money.
My thing is this: it's like my thing is just keep it funky. You know what I mean? Just say whatever it is, whatever. Obviously, he got past that. Whoever his PR team is, they goddamn.
I mean, he's a real eloquent speaker.
Yeah, very.
He's a good looking dude. The lady says he's a good looking dude. You know what I'm saying? And he has a lot of accomplishments. He's not an unaccomplished person. Right. He was in the military. So, but it just struck me as crazy because I ain't gonna lie. From where I'm from, the minute I catch you lying,
the minute that's like somebody run around here and they got the fake bed on around the way, or they want to get the hairline joint. Your ass is grass.
Right, he went to sleep, and she woke up and seen on her pillow.
Yeah. You gonna get around the way, you gonna get your ass tore up. You ain't gonna be the same again until you take that shit off your face.
Hey, it's 6 days before training camp for the Ravens.
Okay.
You see Lamar lately?
He looked like he put on some weight.
Yeah. I think he's gonna have a point to prove because he dropped in the rankings. They don't even rank him as a top 10 quarterback anymore.
I mean, Lamar's what he is. Lamar. I mean, you can't put him in a boy. But he lightning in the bottle. You can't.
I mean, I think him gaining that weight and bulking up like that, he's like, I'm gonna come show y'all.
Okay, I'm looking forward to the season. I just want to see, like what we gonna do. You know what I mean? So the whole AFC North. I mean. It's crazy. It's like I think it's gonna be a battle at they're gonna fight it out. It's gonna be like how the NFC East was back in the day. I think it's gonna be one of those kind of conferences. I think everybody in that conference gonna beat up on everybody.
What do you think about Cleveland getting rid of Baker Mayfield? Like that. I mean, they dropped him like a hot potato.
Yeah, he also took a pay cut too to go. He wanted out.
Yeah, but they still owe a bunch of money.
Yeah, he did. He wanted out of there. And is he really? Do you really? I mean, like, did you? Baker Mayfield. You know what Baker Mayfield remind me of?
What?
Remember Johnny Manziel?
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, the football Johnny or whatever. He reminds me of him a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, I mean,
I just thought it was interesting that they just.
Cleveland does this all the time with quarterbacks. They get them, they let them go. They're just like, yo, they good players.
It's the Cleveland way.
Yeah, you know. So I'm excited about that. I mean, it's beginning to look a lot like football.
You were saying that the L.A. Raiders, they didn't got right diversified, huh?
Oh yeah, they did. They surely did. They got a sister in there now.
Sandra Douglas Morgan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's the president.
She's the president.
She's
of
the
the
president.
LA Raiders.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Yeah,
It's 2022. It's moving at neck break speed. I never would have thought,
No, and she's nice looking too.
Oh,
she's eye candy there. So yeah. Speaking of the Raiders too, they got Kaepernick out there working out with them.
Yeah, how's it looking though?
No, he's working out. That's all. I just want to see, maybe some pre games or whatever. Just
You think he was going to make it to the field?
I'll say as a backup.
Quarterback coach.
I said backup. I don't think they're just going to throw him out there.
I think a lot of that situation, even though he was able to stay healthy, stress within itself could just, rob you of certain things, But hey, did you hear about that? The police officer that one of the ones I think he pled guilty in the George Floyd murder. He just received his time today. Thomas Lane. He got 2.5 years for his role. I mean, he pled guilty, so they gave him a lesser charge.
Yo, but I mean, if I'm not mistaken, but those two other officers, wasn't they like almost in a training day situation? Wasn't they still like in training or something like that?
I believe, yeah, because yeah, but they haven't gone to court yet though.
Okay.
It was his turn because I think all of them wanted separate trials.
Okay.
I think they wanted to put them on trial all together.
Yeah, because I mean that's just like, yo, if you know, what I'm saying, if your captain is flying a plane, and I mean, if you just started on the force, and I guess they don't really know what's going on. I don't,
They said they were intimidated by him too, though.
He might have gave him the Alonzo. He might have gave him the Alonzo treatment, and I mean,
I take him over to S.A.'s house.
Yeah. But not only that too. And since we're on that topic of like cops, it's just like we want to talk about cops. Like the thing I don't like to see is when good cops stand around and watch bad cops do crappy stuff to people. It's just like, yo, you can see when something is going too far to say, hey, look at here, Sergeant so you taking this a bit too far, or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, other cops that stand around and watch this.
Well, I believe that's when you no longer become a good cop.
What you talking about when they step in?
Well, no, if you allow it to happen,
right,
that's when you no longer
right. Okay, I can agree with
you know
that.
What I'm saying? Because you know your partner, you know the situation, and you should be able to try to intervene where, it may have happened one time and y'all get in the car and you're like, look, Johnny, it's never going to happen again.
Right,
I'm going to internal affairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, speaking of which, Maryland State Police is, their hiring process is under federal investigation. They saying there was a lot of discrimination and racial hiring and all that within, Maryland State Police. They was just saying like promotions and things of that nature. They were saying, so it's under investigation. Because I ain't gonna lie, when I'm out here riding around and I'm, when I play the highway a lot, I don't really see a lot of people of color, right, in these state trooper cars. So.
I mean, the state trooper job was, kind of held as being the highest police position in Maryland, and it was, designated for the ones that, the good old boys,
Right.
Even in, I have a friend that was a homicide detective. He actually demoted himself to the paddy wagon driver because he said the homicide is one of the most racist departments in Baltimore City, because if you in homicide for 3 to 5 years, you easily can go to the feds and get you a high-ranking fed job.
Wow.
And he said a lot of the homicide detectives live in the safest place in the United States. You know what the safest place in the United States is, right?
What's that?
York County, Pennsylvania. Because they
sure
said all the Baltimore City police live there.
Wow.
And York County is so small, you go up there and do something crazy. You have York County police and Baltimore City that live there.
Right.
When you look at 83,
Okay.
You know, when it's shift change, you see a
Right.
lot of cars.
Yeah, I have seen that
You know,
before.
Pennsylvania
I have seen
tags, and that's another thing where you can say these homicide detectives or these more high-ranking people, they don't live in the city, so it's easy for them to kind of feel different about people in the city because their standard of living, you know, you get more bang for your buck in Pennsylvania anyway,
that. Taxes, though.
and we not the same people. You know, so I don't understand you. I go home to my nice life, and I dare you come up here and do something in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, you know, on another note, is speaking of Pennsylvania, up in Sesame Place, there was a young lady, you know, a young girl up there, you know, was up there with her mother and tried to meet one of the little mascots and tried to introduce herself to the little mascot. Mascot dismissed her.
I heard about that.
Mother lost her cool about that.
Uh-huh.
You know, I just, you know, children is innocent. I mean, my sister had a situation when we lived in Florida, and it was one of the Chip and Dales, and she went to, you know, everybody else got their little book side, and and he threw her shit in the grass. Yo, if I'm lying, I'm flying, my feet ain't in the ground. But this was like in the late '80s too, so that's no excuse for that, but I do believe that does go on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to this day, I don't think Nanny. I think you'll mind me telling the story, but I don't think she like Chip and Dale to this day for that shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yo, the parents they upset about that, and they made a big stink about that. So.
Yeah, because think about it. Look how your child felt.
No, that was my sister. That was my sister.
No, I'm talking about at the Sesame Place.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the child felt. Yeah.
I mean, you felt horrid. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you got waved off, I can see it. They just.
Yeah, I want to know what character it was, yo.
I think it was Dora.
Dora's not Sesame Street.
Sesame Place.
Sesame Place.
I think all of them be.
I don't know.
Dora, yo.
On my funny man shit. I like to know which one it was. Was it Big Bird or was it?
I don't think it was Big Bird.
Yeah, okay. It might have been Elmo.
Hey everybody.
Yeah. So anyway.
Kevin Clash.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a 13-year-old black girl. You know what I'm saying? And she's the youngest. She's 13 years old and the youngest to attend medical school. And her name is Alina Wicker.
Wow.
So 13 years old.
Child prodigy.
Yeah, real tough. 13 years old, and she's the youngest going to medical school. Yeah. So shout out to Alina Wicker.
That's mind blowing right there. I'm thinking back.
I'm thinking about Dookie Howser. I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking when I read the story. I was thinking Dookie Howser. So
MD.
yeah. So you know, speaking of medical, you know, Joe Biden he got COVID. Yeah. You know,
American people.
Yeah.
Just get your shot, man.
Yeah.
I got mine.
Yeah. I mean, I got my shot too.
You did?
Yeah.
I did.
I shot a Jose Cuervo.
I'm about to say mine. I got a big bottle of shots.
Yeah, you know, I got Jose Cuervo, you know, Hennessy, all that. I got all the shots. Yeah. So also too, it was Shirley Ann Fraser Price. She's a track star. Mm-hmm. Man, check this out. The sister fixed her wig during the race and still qualified at a 200 meter. So let me tell you something. Sisters ain't playing about that hair.
What?
Let me tell you something. She fixed the wig, but she still completed the mission. So shout out to
the female flag.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. And she fixed the joint and still qualified.
Hey, and real quick, did you hear about that up in Yonkers? The police was filmed slamming this lady off of her scooter. Guess who jumped out?
Who?
Styles P.
Yeah. No bullshit.
Nah, Styles P was he was giving them the business. He ran up on them. They didn't know who he was at first. So they was like, yo, get back. He just made sure he kept his hands up and he just gave them the whole grown man. He just was just leaning on them to the point where the police was just looking at him like, all right, man. Now, I don't know if they let the lady go. I don't even know why they, like you seen her on the scooter and they took her, boom. Like, He said, man, that's a woman. What's wrong with you?
Well, that's what a lot of brothers need to start doing. Shout out to Styles P for that.
Shout out Styles P.
Yeah. Even though don't Styles P kind of look like Westmore a little bit.
He looked like Kadri Ishmael to me.
Who you talking about?
And that was from MJ's mailbag with that Styles P story. Thanks, MJ.
Oh, yeah. That's what's up. That's right.
Yeah, he look like Kadri Ishmael. He look like he can run fast. I don't know why. That bald head look like he just take off.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's where we at?
All right. I mean, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, so...
We didn't ran through. We didn't have a commercial break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's elaborate more on the, Biden had COVID, and they said that they needed it to be put out there for the transparency and all this stuff. Let me ask you, what happened to the HIPAA laws?
You know what? It's interesting. It's funny you asked that because I always, it's kind of crazy. People just, go in and just like, oh, COVID or whatever. But I was just like, yo, is that for the rest of the world or no? Because it's kind of seemed like slowly but surely that's becoming obsolete now.
Right, and well, now when we talk about something like abortion, now they say that's their business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you talk about COVID, I remember my sister told me that she went and took the PCR test or whatever it's called.
Okay.
And the rapid
that's the more advanced test.
Right. The rapid test is something that you just take at home, but the PCR test, she said, is put in a database.
So like public records.
I said, hold up.
Wow.
Well, I don't need somebody to know in 2022 he had COVID. That's nobody's business. Or is it?
Is it?
I mean, the thing that Coyote was saying with, the person that made the mRNA vaccine, with talking about, I mean, to some people say that's tinfoil hat, you know what I mean? But he said the thing turned around and looked at him, where it's something that's in that. It's not, what they say it is. Yeah, you right. But I mean, it's just funny to me how, on certain tips, that's supposed to be public information, disclose it, and then certain tips, that's your business. Nobody needs to know that,
So they picking and choosing now.
We're in a funny place, and before we get out of here, boy, it's hot as Hades out there. The whole world on fire.
The whole world, man.
What Cuzzo said in
my cousin
London.
in London said, it was record breaking. She's like 104. They never had temperatures like that.
And they don't have air conditioners built in their house because they usually don't have weather like that.
Yeah, but Texas too. Texas is like on a 10-day, 11-day, 12-day, straight like a heat wave.
Yeah, my nephew lived down there. He said 2 nights ago it was 98 degrees at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, what my man Raincoat said,
hot at night.
It's even hot. It's
feel
even
like
hot
somebody gonna get burnt.
Yeah, it's even hot at night. Yeah. Speaking of hip hop, right now, this is I know this gonna be a dilemma here.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people want to go agree to disagree, but far as female rappers go, right? So we'll sit back. We call no disrespect to Mary J. Okay. But why do we call her? They call her the queen. I don't. So in your book, who's the queen of hip hop? I'm talking about lyric wise. I ain't talking about R&B, but far as lyric wise.
Like just whoever, or like the pioneer. I would take it back to Queen Latifah.
Okay, you say she's the queen. You say she's the queen.
Her MC Light. I mean, I would have to go back to
I would go with Light. Light is definitely in my book. Is definitely the queen. See, that's the name. But man, Coyote said, right? Said Shantae.
Yeah. I was thinking about Shantae in my mind, so I was thinking about MC Light first.
Okay.
And I was like, well, man, when he said it, I was like, Shantae.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Queen Latifah did a lot for hip hop. Like even to this day, Queen Latifah. Yeah, you right.
I'm talking about lyric wise. Like, because the thing is, Mary J, they said, the queen of hip hop. And I'm like,
right. I never heard of that.
Nah.
They gave her that title, but it don't
she was like
fit for what we talking about.
No, for what we talking about, you're real hip hoppers. I'm talking about, day one. Like, hey, look ahead. Let me tell you something about this whole hip hop thing. I'm not a rapper, but I feel like I've been here since day one. When this whole thing started, I remember my parents said this stuff would never last. But it's crazy. My father brought the Sugar Hill Gang album, and it was like, he was like, when he tried to say he ain't like rap, I was like, no, yeah, you do. You know what I'm saying? Because you bought the Sugar Hill Gang album back in the day. So you do like rap, and I appreciate that for you buying it. You know, so, I mean, top 5, yeah.
Let me see.
Well, I'm going to give you my top 5. Out of my top 5, then this is of all time. I'm going to start from beginning to end in this order. KRS One, Blastmaster, number 1. Number 2, Rakim. Number 3, I'm going to say Nas. Number 4, I'm going to say Biggie. And 5, I'm going to say LL Cool J. And the reason I'm going to say LL Cool J is because he's like the Floyd Mayweather in the rap game. You know, you say his name. He's undefeated. And if he was a gym teacher or he worked, as a teacher, so he would have retired.
I think LL Cool J should get a hip hop pension, though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because he was the first artist on Def Jam.
Yeah, he was.
You know, the Beastie Boys actually found his tape. Like he sent it in. They were interns and they listened to it and was like, "This is dope."
Yeah, I do remember him from Crush Groove. I know I'm telling my age now, but Crush Groove. You know what I'm saying? Coyote, what's your top 5, man?
Well,
because I know you're this.
Now my top is pretty much your top, but I say of all times, Busta.
Of all times.
Of all time. The only reason I say that is because, like, if I was to give somebody straight out from back in the day, I would say KRS One, right? But when I listen to Busta album now, and I listen to Busta album then, nobody would get in the ring with Busta. Because he, over time, he like, when people talk about wine, how wine just get better, it's not, he don't sound like an old, he just sound like amazing. And ain't nobody, and every time online or something like that, no matter who the rapper is, when he ever calls somebody out, they all back down. Because he's like, oh, come on, man. You blah, blah. Ain't nobody want to.
Who did he call out? The only person I ever known him call out was Ja Rule.
T.I.
Oh, he did? Okay.
But nobody really want to deal with him because the fact is, it's like, you got to think about it. Let's say you was nice. And you was like, blah, 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 blah. All Busta got to do is be like, and it's not, he's not just saying crazy words. It's actually words.
I think T.I. started his comedian career when Busta called him out. T.I. walked it back because first he entertained the thought and he probably went home and put on some albums. And then Busta put some pressure on him. He said, "Come on, man, you was rapping when I was a child." He said, "What you rapping with Melly Mel?"
Oh yeah, so he should have never did that. He should have never did that.
But that was his exit out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say some funny man stuff and go ahead, Busta. I ain't messing with you.
When they checked Busta's latest rhyme, he did the one that had Farrakhan on there. It was as extreme as anything he had did in the '90s. So it's like, what's up with this dude? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know why his style is the way it is now. Like he did a song with Puffy, and Puffy was like, "Hey man, don't nobody want to hear you screaming. Come up with something different." And that's when he came with that low.
But you know his album, like if you ever listen to Busta, his album was never what his singles was. Like his album was always for the gritty, the streets. I ain't talking about like.
Right.
I remember he had the
works, right?
What was this squad called?
Leaders of the New School.
No, the singer,
Flip Mode.
Flip Mode. Yeah.
Yeah, the single had that. Okay,
that was the party stuff, right?
But his album was amazing. It was like a
because he had Raw Digger. That was.
But you know where he got his name from, though, right?
Yeah, Chuck D.
Okay. Let's let you know. Did you know that? Yeah. He said, yo, because he called it. He always said, yo, what do y'all used to say? He said Chuck D would always say, yo, bust around, and that's how he got his name, Bust Around. So yeah, but I know Leaders of the New School. I loved them. But I think Charlie,
album.
That first
album was classic. Second album,
but Charlie Brown was good.
Yeah,
he was.
But see, he was the headliner of Leaders of the New School, and he felt like he was.
But who was supposed to be the headliner though?
Charlie Brown was.
Charlie Brown was the headliner.
He put the group together. Busta just ended up being the dopest MC.
Y'all said classic, right?
Right.
We can't say classic without saying Tribe.
Oh, well, I was going to get to that. The best groups of all time. The best groups of all time.
Okay. I would. Yeah, I mean, you can't say a crew and hip hop and Tribe Called Quest don't pop.
Oh no.
You know, even though I don't understand why they first single was "Left My Wild" and El Segundo, I used to look at that video like this is the dumbest song in the world. That was the dopest though.
I'm telling you, Tribe Called Quest hit us in another way.
Right.
We're not sitting
They
up
the
here talking
abstract.
about who's the hardest or something like when we talking about Tribe Called Quest. Tribe Called Quest is like
No,
that.
Q-Tip do got a couple
Oh,
songs.
no,
No, he
nice.
do got a joint with Mobb Deep. I didn't expect it from.
Yeah, I'm not taking that away from him.
Well, you know,
I'm
Tribe
not
Called
taking that away
Quest
from
was not supposed to be a group. Q-Tip got the deal. If you look at the first album, it say Q-Tip and a Tribe Called Quest. The next album, Q-Tip basically said, "We just gonna be Tribe Called
We
Quest."
had some nice albums. We got some nice groups out there. We might not
NWA,
know about.
Two Live Crew.
Like, how about this? How about this go real abstract for y'all?
What?
B-Nut.
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah!
Yeah, they slide through our radar a little bit because they not.
See, like me and Void, like we
talked about
back
that.
in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
because they said all the wild stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they was wild. They was
I've been
wild.
looking forever for, I don't know.
But you know, they was a part of the native tongues. A lot of people didn't know that. They was a part of the native tongues.
Roots. We gotta get Roots.
Oh, yeah.
We got Roots because Roots took it up a notch, you know, and for all times we gotta give, because we all have been kind of moved by Wu-Tang,
Yeah.
Wu-Tang.
Now, yo, I know I'm gonna get some flack about this, but yo, everybody that know me, when I first heard Wu, and I know y'all, I'm about to get some shit about this. I didn't like Wu when I first heard it, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
It was too many motherfuckers. It was just too many people. I was like, it felt like it was a bunch of people in gym, and everybody was rapping at the same.
You know what sold me? A bomb atomically. When I heard that verse, I said, "This motherfucker."
Hey, I like
and
it.
he got
Method
five
Man.
mics.
Yeah, but Meth got. But you know what? Meth was always. He was always. But you know what? He was always a good hook man.
Yeah.
But lyrically, he wasn't the best out of the Wu.
Yeah.
But
This
now,
Meth thing,
he can step this game up.
Yeah, he
Hip hop quotable for that. That dude that nobody knew came up a bomb atomically. When people heard that, they was like, "That dude got." Because there was a lot of nice MCs out there that didn't become legend. Like Cannabis.
That's Capadon.
What are you asking for? Some sort of a master.
But Cannabis just didn't have the right. He didn't have the right production.
Yep,
He didn't have the right production.
He didn't have the right. He went against the wrong guys.
Wyclef sabotaged his album.
Who?
Wyclef, because Wyclef was the
That first album,
he
that
sabotaged. He never
lyrics-
could recover.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of.
He was a
I mean, he's part of the Four Horsemen with Corrupt.
Yeah, but I don't really want to hear with them though. I want to hear about.
I like some of these songs because it's Corrupt, Eminem, Killer Priest, and Cannabis. So all of them heavy hit. They heavy spitters. You know what I'm saying? But they just kind of weird the kind of stuff they be talking about. You know, the dark stuff. You know what I mean? But
And I'm gonna ask this too. And now I gonna forget about the locks though. But let me ask this. Yeah. But I'm be honest with you. But real talk. Do you feel as though now hip hop? Do you feel as though we need to start categorizing hip hop like how we do rock and roll now, like rock? Because they got grunge rock, they got hard rock.
It would make sense.
It
would make sense.
Pop rock.
They call it boom bap, like the type of hip hop that we used to like.
Right.
They call it boom. They call it boom.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like in a category like in the music world. Like, should we say this is like if they want to call like neo soul or they want to call this is a conscious rap?
I mean, I believe
the
it
gangster
should,
rap and trap music.
it would make sense because that way the judgment can be kind of taken out of it. You know, if you just say this is rap, then somebody might say I hate 90% of rap.
And you can't compare them. Like you can't compare conscious MCs to somebody that's dropping an 808 kick, right? Because the 808 kick, the drum is intrigued by the drum. In other words, like you already taken by the 808 kick, right? But the conscious joint, they
want to
nice
hear the
melodies.
lyrics. They want to hear your
lyrics.
lyrics.
And they had not just the lyrics. A lot of them conscious MCs did what Michael Jackson did. What Michael Jackson did was, a lot of people don't know how he had one of the reasons he had so many hits. When people would send him music, if he couldn't dance off of it, he threw it away. So the original hip hop artists, they had these melodies, like these the things that only jazz bands would play and classical music, and they would put that stuff inside of them hard beats, and you would be like, wow, because you would be on that. It's different. And the reason why Michael Jackson did it, because they found out that melodies can be remembered. Bass cannot. So you hear the bass coming, boom, because for war trumpet, that's why they do the 808. because it was made us to go. It would make us go into war mode. Because back in the day, when we go to war, you would hear the heartbeat, boom, and you would hear it coming from. That means the war is getting closer, right? But that melody things was an actual harmony. So that whole hip hop thing, the reason why it was moved out the way it is, because we was rapping on harmony. And people were starting to, especially in the conscious time, people were starting to feel good, change their name, read books. Oh no, we can't have this.
No, yo, some brothers
even,
like Big Daddy Kane. I ain't gonna lie, some of his lyrics, he made you go get a dictionary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim,
yeah.
all the old school people was inciting you to learn.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to understand what they were saying if, like you said, you didn't have a dictionary or something.
And brother, not to mention, I'm piggybacking on what you were saying about the beat. You know, a lot of people don't know this, even on another level. A beat is the no, hold on. The only thing you don't get permission to get allowed into your body is a drum beat.
Well, that's the only thing that
allowed to come into your body without your permission. It's a drum beat.
Well, the drum beat is the only thing that comes into your mind without your permission.
Without your permission, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So, I mean, think about when he was sitting there saying, you know, the drum beat to go to war. You played football. Listen to how the band was playing before the game versus after the game.
Right.
After the game, that's when the melody came. Before the game, it's just.
That's why when they tried to trap us in the trap, they had to have us in war mode. Two, one, they had to have us in war mode. Secondly, they didn't want to create another Michael Jackson. They didn't want you to have power. So they need you to feel good but be unremembered. So after your song is good, I can't remember what song you did.
See, and a lot of people don't pay attention. See, I'm about to go somewhere else, and I don't want to go over people's head. See, the thing is, like, frequencies, beats, things of that nature. A lot of people don't realize certain frequencies will make you feel certain ways. Like Andre 3000 got the song, Hey y'all. That's not a good song.
Right.
That's really a sad song, but the beat is so up and make everybody feel good. And he even says it in the song, like, y'all not listening to me anyway. So he was just like, in that song, go back and listen to Hey Y'all.
Yeah,
that's
listen
not
to the hook.
Yeah, he
don't want to meet your daddy. I just want you in my caddy.
Yeah, and that song
like
is really...
you say, he and Jay-Z said something similar. He said, do y'all listen to the music or do you just skim through it? Like, y'all don't listen to it. Y'all listen to the beat.
Okay. Well, the thing is, a lot of this young generation, and then the thing is, I don't want to leave them out either. Falls to young, because actually it was a joint Premier just did recently, and it blew my mind. It was Slick Rick and Lil Wayne that was on the joint, but it shocked me because I didn't think that would go. But listen to it.
I don't consider Lil Wayne a new school artist though.
Okay.
I don't. He was a child when he started rapping, but he's been rapping for.
Well, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about like falls, like we about to go to break, right? Okay. All right, but damn, I'm like, no,
yeah, but y'all got to do part. You got to do part 2 of this, man.
Okay,
you got to do part 2.
I want to leave the youth out of this. Falls the youth MCs though, like. All
right, but like he said,
okay,
maybe we gonna run that next time. You know what I mean? We're gonna have
we can do that.
Yeah, man, this
youth
was love.
segment.
Gotta do that.
You know what I mean? Hip hop. You know what I mean? Beats, rhythm, life. Tribe Called Quest voice. You heard me. City Talk. We out of here. We see you next week.
Let's get it started. City Talk. Let's get it started. City Talk. My man, Ron Carter. My man, roll.